Hey, what's up, y'all? Welcome to the Relationship Cheat Code, where we give you the game, helping you to stress less and experience your absolute best in your relationship. This right here is my pretty in red, my PYT, my beautiful, amazing wife, Iana, yo.
And this right here is my dapper, debonair husband wearing an amazing shirt.
Oh, yeah?
My wife dope.
My wife is dope.
It don't say that.
I do some.
It said my wife dope.
Oh.
You don't
My
even know
bad.
what your shirt is about. You know what I'm saying? Welcome, everybody,
Yeah, welcome,
to
y'all.
another episode of Relationship Cheat Code. I am happy to be sitting here. Took us a little bit to get here
It did.
today.
It took us a little bit, but we here, y'all. We here. What?
And can I say this? Like us working together, y'all, in general, and particularly when we do the podcast, because we're focused on different things, sometimes can be a little bit head bumpy. You know, we be bumping heads a little bit. Not a lot, but, you know,
Yeah.
It's just like par for the course.
Mm-hmm.
But I just want to acknowledge that did not happen today. And I want to shout you out.
Oh, you
Because I
do,
know that my husband used emotional regulation. And I'm just going to pop my own collar because I commanded the atmosphere. I said, I will not give any funky energy. I will be super, as I was doing things and I was taking longer, I was like, okay, I know you're ready. Let me just do this. I was being very intentional to let him know, like, I'm aware. I know we need to move along. You know, I was doing all of that to message to him that I value what you value. So I was really like, I'm going to have good, positive energy, which I think then flowed from me to you, and some of the little comments you might make or you might do, you just chill with that and you were good. And then maybe you decided, you know, without me even having to do any of that, I'm going to be chill, whatever, which then invited me to be considerate and whatever of you. Anyway, I'm just saying, I just noticed that. And
it's a
I
dance.
knew it was like underneath the surface, particularly for him. I could feel a little bit, but he wasn't giving me that energy. And I just want to say thank you, boo.
Oh, you're welcome, baby.
You did a great job.
Thank you, baby.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Yeah. It's a dance, y'all. Communication is a dance that you got to learn how to do with your partner. And that whole piece around managing your emotions is really important as well. And so let's go ahead and hop into the topic, y'all. So today what we're talking about is basically conversations that you don't have with your boo around sex, y'all. Conversations that you're not having. You ain't having these types of conversations. And as a result, it's leading to some type of disconnect in your relationship. And so first and foremost, we want to say this, that whether you're married or not, communication is critical when it comes to the health of your relationship. Not only is communication critical, but also connection is critical as well. And so in order for you to have that bomb communication and connection, it's important that you take a look at what's going on in the bedroom. It's important that you take a look at what's going on when it comes to sex and intimacy in your relationship. And so we know that, of course, intimacy is way beyond just sex. And so we speak about that often in terms of just your emotional attunement and, how available are you to your partner and whether or not you're aiming for understanding over agreement. But today we want to speak specifically about sex, y'all, and just conversations that folks ain't having when it comes to this area right here, which is leading to disconnects in the area of sex in the bedroom.
So I want to ask you a question, because I don't think it is that people are not having the conversations, but it's not just that they aren't having them because maybe they don't have time or they just got so much going on, but they're avoiding the conversations. You know what I mean? Like they are avoiding getting into that, and they don't have any plans to have any conversations about it. And so I'm curious, from your perspective, why do you think that is? From a man's perspective, like I think for women, I could be wrong, sisters. Weigh in. I ain't wrong, but I might not be representing everybody's experience. But I know that this is true for many women. For many women, when it comes to like sex, the disconnects or like the things that or places where our men are coming up short, we oftentimes are unsure, uncertain, and not feeling comfortable with bringing it forward because y'all's egos are so fragile. You know what I mean? And we do not want to be responsible for, tearing you down in any kind of way.
Yeah.
So we really don't want to do that, and we just don't know how to go about it. And unfortunately, I would say that women, in many ways, we're conditioned and raised to be accommodating, to accommodate everybody else first and put our needs last and make sure everybody else is straight. And that thing extends into the bedroom. So we're going to make sure you get yours, and we're going to make sure that your ego is intact and that you feel okay, while we after the whole experience has gone down in a matter of, 72 seconds, we still have a yearning.
Not 72 seconds.
On the inside, and it ain't fulfilled. And we're sitting up here Googling and talking to girlfriends and looking up vibrators, and we figure it out some other kind of way, all because we're trying to take care of y'all. So I'm just curious as to this is why we avoid. I think this is a big reason why a lot of women avoid. Why y'all not trying to have a conversation?
I mean, a large reason why we're not having the conversation is because exactly what you said. We're not. Yeah, it's ego. So we make assumptions, and we think that we doing our thing a lot of times. And so even if it is 72 seconds or 5 minutes, outside of hearing, comments from popular media about the 5-minute brother and stuff like that, you might be thinking that you're holding it down. And so your ego is wrapped up into what's happening. And so you think that you doing it. You think that you handling your business.
Oh, I thought you were saying for the same reason, like y'all don't want to hurt our feelings or something.
No, what I'm saying is that because as men, we pride ourselves in our ability to perform. And so we're not talking about it because we're thinking that we're doing it well in many instances. Now, there's some situations.
There's some men who know
yeah, there are some dudes. So you have one category that think that they're doing it well, which is ego-based. And so they're not talking about it or having conversations because I know that I'm laying pipe. And so I'm satisfying you. I know that.
I say it like that.
No, I'm just saying I know that. And so I'm not talking about it because how dare you not be satisfied with this gift that I'm giving you? And then there's another camp where they know that they're not pleasing their woman. And as a result, it's out of self-protection that you're avoiding having those conversations because you don't want to be exposed any further. You don't want to have the uncomfortable conversation. And you don't know what recommendations may be made, and you may have done some private searching on your own, and some of those recommendations you might not be willing to take. And so it just opens the door to a more extensive conversation. And so, we're in a place of self-protection, protecting our ego and protecting our sense of identity. And, we want to make sure that our dignity is in store or intact. And so when we open that door to having that conversation, then that stuff might be shattered. So we are avoiding it as well because of that.
All right. Well, this right here brings me to the first thing that folks need to pay attention to. This is just coming up for me. It oftentimes when we're working with folks, when we ask people about their sexual connection, their sexual intimacy, their sexual satisfaction, oftentimes it is the first time that they have had that conversation ever.
Yeah.
Ever. Like ever. Like they just have never thought to ask, are you satisfied? Right? You know what I mean? Like we've been together for 7 years. Are you still satisfied here in number 7, year 7, the same as you were when we were dating, or in year 1 or 2? Or we've been together for 23 years. And where are we now today? We change, we evolve. You know what I mean? So I think the thing that we need to give ourselves permission to do, and sometimes you as one half of that dynamic duo has to be the one to bring it forward, and your partner be like, where is this coming from? Just be like, hey, I just listen to this podcast and I just want to go ahead and take us to another level, and just ask the question, check in with each other and actually ask, are you satisfied? And give your partner permission to say, I'm not asking you to rank me or rate me. I'm just saying, like, share with me, like, how you feel and, what's going on when we have sex. Do you feel like, it's good? Yes, it requires you to be open. It requires you to be vulnerable. But like, I want you to think about that. Maybe we can come back and talk about it. Or maybe we can write our thoughts about it and then, sit down and have a glass of wine or go out and share. But we got to talk about these things. That's the point.
Yeah. And my wife, she mentioned that when we're working with couples, one of the things we do, y'all, is we'll ask couples on a scale of 1 to 10, with 0 being like it's some boo-boo and 10 meaning that it's, off the charts and y'all are swinging from chandeliers. Or not even swinging from chandeliers, but you're just like, you're completely satisfied, very satisfied. What would you rank yourself? Or how would you rank your sexual experience? And so we notice very clearly a pause when we're working with couples around this area, because it's almost as if like people attempted to answer based off of the other person's feelings. And so it takes a moment to actually get centered within yourself and answer the question for you about how satisfied am I really, and am I courageous enough to share this with my spouse? And so we often say too, we wish that y'all had cards that y'all could lift up and put up at the same time, because what you'll notice is that sometimes couples, they'll try to mirror the same number as the other person, or at least be relatively close to it, because they don't want to offend. Now, we do have some folks that are just like, you think it's at a 10, but it's at a 2 for me. And in that instance right there, there's honesty and transparency, and we assist them in the process of working on restoring a greater sense of sexual connection and intimacy as a whole in a relationship.
Yeah. And sometimes people pick the safe number.
Yeah.
6 and 7. Every now and then my husband hits me, I'm like,
yeah, I say no, don't say a 7. Yeah, don't pay a 7. Yeah.
Don't do that, so we can get out of that. So the first thing is we got to be talking about it. And then also,
hold on. Oh. So you said we got to be talking about it. Well, go ahead. What are you about to say?
I was just going to say, y'all got to try new things. Like, this is the obligation, particularly of the married couple.
So you're saying this is a new conversation? I mean, a conversation that folks aren't having about new things?
You got to try new things. You gotta say, hey, what have you wanted to try that you have been afraid to bring up? What's something that you have seen you wanted to do, or that maybe you even mentioned to me in the past, or tried to test a little bit and that thing didn't go right? Like what do you want to do? Like, and here's the thing, y'all can have these conversations, because this is getting into like fantasy. This is getting into imagination. Sometimes we don't want to go to that place of having these conversations about our fantasies and stuff, because we like, well, I have this fantasy, and this is really kind of turning me on a little bit, but I don't want to say it. And then he like, oh, let's go. I'm about to let's make this happen, right? But I want to give everybody permission, I guess. Like, you can have these conversations as a means to like talking about what y'all would be willing to do, not willing to do, to explore together. But that don't mean you gotta do it. You know what I'm saying? And sometimes, sis, you do have to let your man know. As I have had to do with mine.
What you about to say?
It's a fantasy. That does not mean that I want to do it.
I'm ready to make it happen right now. Like, let's make it happen right now. If you talking about, if you planting that seed in my mind, or if you allowing me to roll with the seed that's been planted, like, yo, let's make it happen right now.
It's a fantasy. We're talking about it. We're in the midst of the act, and you whispering, you saying some stuff. I'm like, oh yeah, okay. And then we done, and that has happened with us. My husband's like, so what made you think about that? The moment is over. He still got a little, what made you say that, boo? And I'm like, that was a fantasy.
With the straight face.
That's over. I don't feel it no more. Get it out your mind. It ain't happening. Now, some people may be like, damn, this is exactly why I don't want to go there. But look, we had a whole rendezvous.
Yeah.
And it turned up the sexual woo, woo, woo. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I'm not like that 100% of the time, but some things I'm like, nah, boo. It's not going down like that. So I'm just saying, you all can dip and dabble in places that are very risque for you, and go there without going there. And you shouldn't feel like, oh, if I do that, then I'm gonna be giving him the wrong. Okay, just make it clear. Just make it clear. We can go here in this way at this time. But you've now had an orgasm, and so have I, and it's over.
Let me say something. Let me say something about that, though.
Because a lot of people just like, I'm not giving him no ideas. Like just give the idea, because it's fun to get into that, but we ain't going there all the way.
So you say you ain't going there all the way.
I see the smile of yours.
I'm just saying, like, so you say,
like, see, I say his whole.
I'm just saying, I'm just gonna tell you how it's processed, and I do want you to have the freedom to express yourself and explore what your desires are, even if it's within fantasy and within the confines of our bedroom. I'm cool with that.
Yeah.
At the same time, too, I benefit from that. Yeah, and it's a blessing, and it feels wonderful. At the same time, there is something in the back of my mind that makes me believe that there is a possibility that, given the right circumstances, the right situation, the sun shining in the right place, the right song on, that it might go down. Hey, what's up, y'all? So we know you're enjoying the episode, but check this out, y'all. We're not just any old random couple that's coming on YouTube every week just giving relationship suggestions and stuff like that. We're way more than that, y'all. We're trained therapists and relationship coaches.
Yeah.
This right here is my beautiful, incredible, sensational wife, Iana.
And this right here is my dapper, debonair husband, Ayize. So y'all, we just want you to know that there is more. We don't want you to just be a spectator. We want you to get in here with us and join our community. We have all kind of folks who are doing their personal work, their relationship work. We have sister circles and men's lounges and trainings, and we address all kinds of things from infidelity to disconnection to communication issues and sex and intimacy issues. Look, the solution is at blandcore.com. Join us.
It really might go down. And so I do think, and this is where ego comes into play, y'all. I do think that although you saying it ain't happening, because it's a thought and because we're playing with it, that the possibility is still there. And so, but at the same time too, when you're outside of the space, you do have full control to control the parameters of like how things progress and stuff like that. So, but the possibility is there.
Let me say this, and I'm speaking for myself, not speaking for all women, because I want y'all to remember what I just said in terms of setting those parameters, but still having fun. This is what makes my relationship sexy as hell. This is what makes our chemistry so hot. Because I know that you think like that. And I like that you think like that. And I like to play like that. Not like I'm playing with you, but you like, I don't know. So like, you just, like you said, the sun shine the right way. And I'm like, boy, please. But to be continued. Because you never know, even though I mostly know. But, it keeps a little fire going.
Yeah.
It keeps a little, going. You know what I'm saying? It just does. That's for me in my relationship. It works well. So therein lies another benefit of exploring new things together and talking about those things.
Let me say one more thing. So we've done an exercise with couples before where within a cluster or a group of couples, we've actually had people place different, and we're sharing stuff that we do in our intensives, our private intensives that we do with couples, but also in group coaching and stuff. But we'll have couples place sexual fantasies inside of a paper bag or inside of a hat or whatever it is, of course, anonymously.
Right.
And you would be amazed at some of the things that couples are talking about and sharing in terms of what it is they want to do. So this can be a group of 20 people, 50 people, 100 people, 15 people. And the ideas, number one, it gives you permission to say like, okay, I'm not such a freak, or I'm not such out of the norm because this person over here, or at least somebody in this room, is having a thought about doing anal. At least somebody in the room is having a thought about doing a threesome. At least somebody in the room is having a thought about doing it on an elevator. At least somebody is having a thought about doing it on the beach. And so, or, doing any number of things. And this actually segment of the video would be a good way for you to even approach this conversation with your partner. You could actually ask, based off of what Ayize lifted up, have you thought about any of those things? And then proceed to engage in a conversation based off of that. And so, again, people have wide ranges of ideas, and that's absolutely okay. As my wife said, some stuff is just for fantasy, and then some stuff is flirting with the possibility of reality. Y'all get to choose.
Yeah, that's good. All right. This is good. It's a good conversation.
Yeah. So when we think about the another conversation that couples don't have, that they need to be having, is really about sexual compatibility.
Yes.
I think that this one right here is huge, especially if you haven't jumped the broom yet. I think this is an important conversation if you haven't jumped the broom.
You talking about before y'all get married?
Yeah.
Most people watching us, not everybody, they're like, we already married, Ayize. So.
But I'm just saying though, so there's some folks out here who ain't married, and if y'all are unequally aligned and not in the same camp when it comes to sexual compatibility, it's rough. It would be rough to be in a marriage where you are unfulfilled in that area, and then you step into it knowing that I'm going to be unfulfilled in this area. And sometimes people believe that when you say I do, the floodgates will open and you'll just magically shift and become Mr. Don Juan and be laying pipe or be handling your business. And it ain't necessarily like that, especially if there's a history of you not doing it prior to, or if you've had no experience or exposure.
Yeah, when people have had no experience,
Yeah.
celibate or just have not had sexual experiences or, virgin or whatever.
Yeah.
It really
and it's not a
does.
knock.
It's not a knock.
It's
But
not a
it
knock.
changes the dynamic.
Yeah. And so, again, for those people who are married and, you find yourself in a place where, y'all just, like, for instance, if testosterone levels change and as you experience different phases and spaces in life, you might just not be focused on it, not be interested. I've heard a lot of dudes talk about when it comes to this whole sexual compatibility piece that I used to be on and popping and now not so much. I'm more so focused on work now. And so, back then we weren't necessarily aligned. She expressed that she wanted it, but she didn't show up like she wanted it. And now she's expressing that she's wanting it and showing up like she wants it, but I'm not interested as much as I used to be. And so when there's this imbalance, if you're not having conversations about that, then it's going to cause stress and tension in the relationship. And so y'all got to be talking about sexual compatibility, in your marriage.
And I want to make a distinction between compatibility and ongoing changing and evolving in a relationship. You know what I mean? So my husband and I, we have always been compatible. No, and the reason I pause and say that though is because, early on, and I just did not recognize how important that was. I know I didn't appreciate it because I just was like, well, let me back it up. I said we've always been compatible. We've always been compatible once we got into bed. But for sure, you have been wanting it more than I have been wanting it.
Yeah.
At periods of time, and I'm like, oh God, like I wrote a song. What's the name of the song?
Can I get some?
Can I get some? That's always on the top of your mind.
You can sing it.
This one has, can I get some? Can I get some? I don't remember the rest of the words, but
always on the top of your mind.
Always on the top of your mind. Can I get some? Can I get some? Something. I might have to go back and find that. I wrote some songs back in the day, and that was one of them. But I really wrote that, and I was like, this brother just beyond me. You know what I'm saying? Like, goodness gracious. But we had little kids, all that kind of stuff. Impacts your availability. So compatibility is, yes, it's about the frequency at which you all want to, have sex and that kind of thing, libido and stuff like that. But more than that, because those things change and evolve over time as we get older, as like we start to have a family, as our kids start to leave, we have a high intensity job.
Yeah.
We're, not having that anymore. We have in a different place in life. All of that stuff can change and flow. But chemistry, and in terms of when you're together, I think is a huge piece to really look at. I just want to distinguish that piece right there. When you're in the bed having difficulties connecting, that's a different kind of compatibility issue than when we come together. It's amazing, but damn, can we get together? You know what I mean? And so all of it's important. And so you need to be able to talk about these things, particularly for those who are together, you are committed, and talk about how to bridge the gaps. You know what I mean? Just know, like, you ain't the only one. Like, it's not like, oh, it's just something wrong with us. Like, whatever you're watching on TV is just, that's TV. Everybody has gaps in some way, shape, or form. So how can you bridge the gaps? Well, you cannot change anything you do not acknowledge.
True.
So first, without personalizing it, without making it about you, right? Like, let's just talk about the things that we want, that we thirst for, that we would love to experience, without making it about you're not doing this and you're not doing that. Let's just name it. And let's just put that down on some paper. And then, like, what are the ways that we can bridge the gaps? There's so much more to physical intimacy, to sexual intimacy, than penetration. I like to play games sometimes with my husband to teach him this lesson about how important it is to appreciate the fullness of sexual intimacy. And I like to play with him. And get him to a place of supreme alertness, and then say, "That's it, babe. Like, we good now." Because you don't need to release. There needs to need to be any orgasm. Let's just let that sink in. You know, when I do that, I like to do that, and I'd be like, all right, I roll over. Like he'd be like, you better come back here.
Yeah, I got to take it.
And I love it. But even that, right? Like there's so many things to be explored in terms of how you, it's making me think about something else, in terms of how you engage sexually, because sex is first in the mind. It's first in the mind. There's a psychology around it, and there is an attraction and an intensity around chemistry that starts here. I'm just gonna say this because I thought this was funny. This happened a few weeks ago. I don't know why I be liking that little cat and mouse thing a little bit. I like that. So I was doing that with Aize. And I was thinking, well, I don't think I can get into it. It's a little bit too explicit. But I was like, well, when is you gonna go on and get it? Like I don't even know how to explain it without saying too much. And what you say at that, when we finally got into it and finished, she was like, I don't know what the hell you was doing. I was like, what is she doing? I'm like, come on and get it. And I was like, you was just taking forever. You was taking forever.
Yeah.
So I just want to ask you a question. Do you enjoy that as much as I did, or was that like some dumbass?
Yeah. Just, I mean, it's a fine line. So.
I mean,
it really is a fine line. And the reason why I'm saying that is because I think that we as men, we got to be mindful. And I even shared this with my wife. Even when I just shared, when you start playing that whole cat and mouse game, that it's cool, and then I just take it. So
but we're speaking about our relationship.
Yeah, we're speaking about our relationship. So I just want to be mindful because
having been together for many years and having a flow.
And having a flow and really knowing when your spouse wants something. And there's this tease that's going on. And so I'm aware of that with my wife. I'm lifting that up because some folks don't need to be taking it.
That's right.
It's out of order, it's inappropriate, and it's downright abuse. And so let me be clear about it. You can rape your wife.
Ooh, Lord.
You can.
But you can.
And so that's not what we're condoning, endorsing. What I'm saying is that in my relationship, based off of our chemistry and understanding of each other and knowing what the likes and dislikes and proclivities are, she wants me to take it. And so, you know, in that experience right there, like there are times where there's still a line. And so I'm trying to respect the line because, you know, you want me to take it, but if I take it, I don't want to take it too hard.
You don't never take it too hard.
I don't want to take it too rough.
You don't do that.
And I'm saying take it, but really the appropriate language should be give it. I don't want to give it in that way. And you know, and so I'm just walking the line. And so I'm kind of filling you out and I just want to make sure all is good. But you know, just be careful.
That's why you're the best husband ever.
Yeah, I'm sensitive to where you are. And at some point, you know, I reach a place where I'm like, oh, fuck it. Like, the time is now. And so it took a little bit longer that time, only because I was just being sensitive but, you know.
Right. Everybody has their things, right? Everybody has their things. And I think that when you avoid conversations, you don't get to know your partner. You don't get to know what their thing is, what their things are, you know. And Aize is able to accommodate me in that way in some ways. He also likes it. He ain't just accommodate me. He like down that lane.
No, I do. I do like it. You know? Another conversation on y'all that people aren't having, that couples aren't having, is around pornography, and its part in your relationship, whether or not it has any place. And also how it may contribute to sexual decline as well.
Unreasonable expectations.
Yeah, unreasonable expectations, sexual decline, because people start to measure themselves up against what they see. And then also if you are whacking off frequently, then you know, you can start to desensitize your manhood. And so when you are experiencing your wife, then there may be some premature ejaculation taking place just based off of the fact that you're used to you know, having an orgasm within 1 to 2 minutes. And so, you know, again, that could be a negative impact. And then also you're expecting him or her to show up in a certain way that you are witnessing when you watch these videos, which can have a negative impact too. But there's also some couples where you can watch it together. And so, does it have any place? Does it not have any place? But just having a conversation about pornography and other manipulatives, whether it be toys or whatever, that might be included in your sexual experience that can enhance or even detract from the overall quality of the relationship's sexual health.
That's good.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
These are just a few of the conversations, but just a few. But again, these are conversations that couples don't have, and again, we encourage you to talk about it, fam. To talk about it, and to approach it with sensitivity, with care, with compassion, and you want to make sure you're creating a safe space so that y'all can ultimately aim for connection and have more banging sex. I mean, that's ultimately what it is that you want to experience, and so, again, ultimately, if you want that, you got to create safety to experience that. And hopefully, just having this conversation today enables you to get some ideas about ways in which you can approach it, but also topics that you can explore with your wife or with your husband so that y'all can better connect.
That's good.
Mm-hmm.
All right, y'all. Thank you for listening in. Weigh in, share your thoughts, reach out. We love to hear from you. And until next time, this has been another episode of Relationship Cheat Code.
Yes. Please like, please subscribe, and please share. And we're going to build with you next time. Peace y'all.